Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Francis Entertainment Center. Next stories today are Krabby Land and the camping episode. Could I try to see if Birdie can be in here throughout the video? And please enjoy the video, Birdie. One morning, SpongeBob looks at his calendar and realizes it is the first day of summer, and he gets excited. When he goes to work, he sees Mr. Krabs even more excited for summer. SpongeBob asks him why, and he says that on summer vacation, children go around spending money at the Krusty Krab will get more profits through kiddie meals, which he raises the price from $1.99 to $4.99. However, he sees that the children are all at a new playground and decides to make a playground of his own called Krabby Land. At work the next day, Mr. Krabs reveals the grand opening of Krabby Land, which he proudly built himself. When it is uncovered, it is revealed to be little more than a dopey-looking assembly of cheaply made and dangerous attractions that will definitely collapse under their own weight. The children are horrified, yet speechless with disappointment. Mr. Krabs gives them coloring books and liability waivers, says that whoever hands theirs back gets to meet Krabby the Clown. He tells them that the clown will come soon, tells SpongeBob to stall the kids while he counts the money. SpongeBob pretends to be Krabby's sidekick, the Krabby Patty burglar, but the children hate him. While trying to amuse them by blowing bubbles, he accidentally gets liquid soap on his eyes, which makes the kids laugh. He realizes that the kids like it when he is in pain and begins intentionally harming himself, even hiring two thugs to torture him in a variety of ways. After a while, SpongeBob goes to Mr. Krabs, who's sewing through a large stack of money, tells him that he can't stall the children anymore, being horribly beaten and missing limbs. Mr. Krabs tells SpongeBob he's being selfish and tells him to get back there and stall, but upon seeing SpongeBob's legs flying around, he fears that his windows will be smashed and broken, so he tells him to let the crowd of children enter the restaurant for Krabby the Clown's arrival. Excited, the children and SpongeBob rush out in front of Mr. Krabs, who welcome Krabby the Clown. However, it turns out that Mr. Krabs turns around and immediately puts on a tie and a blue painted tomato on his nose, and does a cheap imitation of the clown. He then walks back into his office, leaving the children and SpongeBob jaw-dropped in confusion. This latest ripoff is the last straw for the children and SpongeBob. An extremely disappointed SpongeBob confronts Mr. Krabs, expressing his disdain for such a rip-off and calls him Cheapy the Cheapskate. Mr. Krabs undresses from his costume and finally admits that he does not care about the children or the money of their parents and is willing to do whatever it takes to get their money. He even calls the kids, being the victim of his scam, no skin off his nose. He then taunts SpongeBob for being unable to stop him in time by saying twice, "Survival of the fittest." Mr. Krabs tries to go to the bank with the money he has made, but he is confronted by an angry mob of children who have overheard his confession and are planning to punish him. Mr. Krabs, realizing that he is about to be punished, has given the kids his confession, which was not taken well, tries to reconcile, but fails as the kids charge, beat him up, and destroy the playground. Inside, SpongeBob is disappointed that he will never learn the true meaning of summer. Monroe then calls SpongeBob over about the summer miracle. The kids take back all their money and distribute it back to themselves. SpongeBob guesses it's the true meaning of summer, but he asks Squidward where Mr. Krabs is from, who's missing out on all the summer fun. Mr. Krabs, tied on all fours between wooden poles, wants the return of his green stuff and begs for freedom. However, the thugs, paid by the children for his swindling, only feed him a can of lima beans, give a truckload of them, causing him distress by the torture of what SpongeBob went through earlier. Squidward is preparing for bed and says he looks forward to a weekend of maze, peace, and quiet, especially with SpongeBob and Patrick deciding to go camping. However, he's extremely exasperated and disappointed to learn that they are camping in SpongeBob's front yard, right outside his window. Squidward confronts SpongeBob and Patrick in their tent, pointing out they cannot be camping if they are only 10 feet away from SpongeBob's house. SpongeBob simply states that it does not matter where you camp as long as you are in the wilderness. After getting the impression that the duo believes Squidward is not manly or qualified enough to camp, he impulsively decides to join SpongeBob and Patrick in their camping. Squidward attempts to demonstrate real camping as SpongeBob and Patrick take notes. The latter is really doing a tic-tac-toe game, but Squidward fails to set up his automated tent, so he decides to sleep under the stars. The gang begins roasting marshmallows while imitating astronauts. Squidward dismisses them and plans to get a can opener from his house so he can get a can of Swedish barnacle balls. However, SpongeBob stops him from doing so, saying that it doesn't seem to fit the camping spirit. Squidward grudgingly decides to eat the marshmallows, but Patrick repeatedly blows on his burned ones that are covered in fire, and then flying into Squidward's face. SpongeBob then plays the campfire song. Squidward dislikes it and begins playing Kumbaya very badly on his clarinet. Suddenly, a terrified SpongeBob stops Squidward by shooting a marshmallow with his slingshot through his clarinet into his windpipe, causing him to choke. After Squidward recovers, he yells at SpongeBob for hurting him. SpongeBob claims that it is not safe to play the clarinet badly in the wilderness at night, as Squidward might attract a sea bear. Squidward angrily protested sea bears do not exist. SpongeBob and Patrick insist that they are real by showing two newspaper articles of companies, the Bikini Bottom Inquirer and Folks Science Monthly, as proof, where one newspaper says, "I married a sea bear," and the other newspaper says, "Sea bears and fairy tales are real." Squidward attempts to disprove their existence by having SpongeBob and Patrick list all the things which supposedly attract sea bears, such as stomping harder, eating cheese cubes, wearing a hoop skirt, and clown shoes, wearing a sombrero in a ridiculous way, waving a joystick back and forward quickly as its natural play, etc. He then begins doing all these actions at once, despite SpongeBob and Patrick's pleas. SpongeBob quickly draws an anti-sea bear circle in the dirt to protect himself and Patrick. And Patrick says they've shown in the article of Fake Science Monthly how to stop a sea bear. It's the only defense against a sea bear attack. Squidward then gloats how a sea bear has not arrived, to which SpongeBob explains he forgot one thing, wearing a sombrero in a goofy fashion. Just then, a real sea bear appears and demonstrates how the hat should be worn upside down, much to Squidward's horror. Enraged, the bear mauls the shocked Squidward before leaving. SpongeBob and Patrick urge Squidward to jump into their circle, but he is skeptical of this and tries to flee, only to be attacked by the sea bear again for various reasons like limping and crawling. After being attacked for the 6th time, SpongeBob concludes that sea bear simply does not like Squidward. After failing to draw his own anti-sea bear circle, Squidward finally leaps into SpongeBob and Patrick's. When the sea bear appears again, it notices Squidward is now in the circle and growls at him in warning for now being safe. Before leaving the area, Squidward is relieved the creature is finally gone and thanks SpongeBob and Patrick for saving his life, and the trio celebrate. SpongeBob mentions they are lucky to not be attacked by a sea rhinoceros. Hearing this, Squidward fearfully asks what attracts them, to which Patrick replies, "The sound of a sea bear attack." A sea rhinoceros then appears and growls at Squidward. SpongeBob remarks how lucky they all are to be wearing anti-sea rhinoceros undergarments, except for Squidward, who does not have a pair on, causing him to whimper in resignation and fear.